If you build or repair AC system hoses, many shops do this. Not all do, but there are many shops that repair or fabricate their own AC hoses, also power steering hoses, many different kind of hose assemblies. There's a lot of good information that you need to know, and let's take a look at the upcoming segment, which is going to tell you basically everything you ever needed to know about building and repairing hoses the right way.
Hi, my name is Mike Ferguson. I'm from ATCO Products. This is my colleague, my friend John Clark. John works with the engineering group at ATCO. I work with the sales group. We're here this morning to demonstrate our two different crimping systems at ATCO that we offer. The first of which is referred to as our Bubble Crimper. It's a 3710 hose crimper. This system was developed by John in the early 90s. The system is composed of the various components. We have a crimping body. We have both two braid and reduced barrier die segments. We also have a bench mount system. And then in under this body is a tube of Teflon grease, and the Teflon grease is to be placed at various points throughout the crimping body and the dies. We'll demonstrate that in just a moment. John and I have mounted the crimper body into the vise. We've installed the die segments into the body on each side. And we've also, a very important step, we've applied a small amount of Teflon grease behind each die segment on the top and the bottom bodies. What we're going to do now is actually perform a crimp on a number 8 2 braid hose. This is a 90-degree fitting that we're using this morning. Very critical area. Note the flag stop. The flag stop is our method of locating the ferrule, the center of the body jaws. Very important in this area that it's against the ferrule, not against the bead lock of the fitting. Now I'm going to ask John to use a 1/2 inch impact this morning with at least 100 psi. John has completed the crimping process with the 1/2 inch impact. One thing I want you to notice that the die segments are completely bottomed and there is still a gap in the body. And that is what we want. We want to ensure that these die segments are on bottom. Now I'll ask John to reverse the impact, remove the hose, as you can see, there are 3 different crimp segments on the 2 braid crimp. We're going to use the center crimp location. Now I'll ask John to go ahead and measure the fitting in 3 equal places, and I will add them up for him.
0.832,
832 thousandths plus
0.817,
817 thousandths plus
0.830.
830 thousandths. That equals 2 inches 479 thousandths if we average that by 3. 827 thousandths average. Our specification on this crimp diameter is 830 thousandths plus or minus 12 thousandths, so we're nearly dead on. Good job, John. This concludes the first method we're demonstrating this morning, which is the ATCO bubble crimping system. Now we're going to move on to the second method, which is the ATCO Air-O-Crimp system. John and I are now going to demonstrate our second crimping method, which is the ATCO Air-O-Crimp system. This system is composed of a set of 3 pinchers. We have a 90-degree pincher set, flat pinching set, and just this year the new ratchet pinchers. The system must be utilized with the ATCO 3800 hose material. We have that in number 6, number 8, number 10, 12, and this year new number 16. We're going to be crimping the number 8 size, which is the same size that we crimped on the ATCO bubble crimper. John, if you'll go ahead and assemble the ATCO AN fitting, which is a new fitting for this year. It's one-piece, non-brazed. Fitting simply goes inside the hose, bottoms it out. We're going to crimp two different methods with our pinchers. We're going to start with the flat pinchers. I'll hand those to John. Pinch till it bottoms. Now I'm going to hand John the ratchet pinchers. One big advantage of this system that I like is once you start crimping with these ratchets, they must go to the bottom before you can release them, just like that. In concluding, I'd like to recap both systems of crimping methods we demoed this morning. The first of which is the ATCO 3700 bubble crimping system, which was developed in the early 90s. It was the first mobile crimping system in the industry. The second is the ATCO Air-O-Crimp system, which was developed 4 years ago. It's mainly used in hard-to-reach points in the bus industry mainly. Both systems provide excellent crimps. If you would like more information about any of our products, including these two systems, please visit our website at www.atcoproductsinc.com. I'd like to thank you, myself, Mike Ferguson, and my colleague, John Clark.
Well, we just saw some very interesting information about fabricating and repairing hoses. I hope you found that valuable. But speaking of hoses and lines, say you come across a car that has a line rubbed through or developed a pinhole, and you don't want to have to replace the entire line. A company called Air-O-Crimp has come out with a really neat line splice. Here's a picture of it. Comes in different diameters to repair different AC line or different diameter AC lines. And it is sealed by O-rings that are essentially, you can see they're green. They look like actually little rubber sleeves to show you how well they seal. This is a demonstration that Air-O-Crimp put on where they sealed both ends of a pipe, and they installed one of these line splices in the pipe and pumped it up to some nasty pressures. 2,500 psi is the design spec of this line splice, but someone came along and pumped it up to way over that, and you can see that the O-rings held. Take a look at this picture here. You can see that the actual line bubbled out like a marble, but the O-rings held. So there's your assurance that the O-rings on this line splice are going to seal extremely well. If they can hold that kind of pressure in, that the actual pipe itself would turn into a marble, well, I think the O-rings are pretty dependable. So really neat way you can repair line rub-throughs or pinholes and lines.